Well, today we talked about, in Sunday school, we talked about Elisha and how he helped a widow fill jars with oil. She was broke and her husband had died. That's what a widow means. Her husband had died. And she didn't have any money, and the people were going to come and take her sons and sell her sons into slavery to pay her debts. And so she went to Elisha for help. And what Elisha did was, what have you got? And she said, all I've got is a little bit of olive oil. And he said, okay, well, take that little bit of, get all the containers you could possibly get and borrow them from your neighbor and put them in your house, put them in a room in your house, go in there, shut the door, and start filling them with oil from your little jar. And when she did that, all the jars filled up to the top. And then what happened? You remember what happened to them? What did
they gave it away so that they were paid and happy so that she could keep her son.
That's right. So she sold that oil so that she could pay those debts and keep her sons. Well, I want to teach, Preston, I want to make sure everybody knows that lesson. Because what does that mean about good people of God? What kind of people do they help?
They'll help anyone.
That they will help anyone, and they especially want to help people who are most in need. So children, widows, and people who are poor. That was what Elisha did. What other kind of people do good people of God help? Who can we help?
They usually help people disciples or people who trust in God's Spirit for always.
That's right. That's right. We tend to be able to better help people who also trust in God, and then God is really able to work in their lives in amazing ways. So what I want you to do is be a little bit like Elisha. I want you to help people like Elisha helped. I want you to be able to help people who are marginalized, people who are poor, people who have lost their loved ones and are sad, people who are children who don't have all their parents. I want you to be able to be like Elisha and help people like that. Will you do that? Will you help it? Will you help people like that? I need your help helping people like that. I'm not as powerful as Elisha. I can't do it by myself. So let's pray, and then you can go to children's church. God, we thank you for these kids. We thank you for this day. And we thank you for the example you set in your servant, your prophet Elisha. Help us to all be as considerate and caring as he was. Amen.
Amen.
All right, if you want to go to children's church, you can. And or you can stick around. Read another story about oil used in a different way. We've been reading through Genesis, and I think, Diane, did you do your children's lesson last week on Jacob and Esau? Is that right? Did you talk about the stew, or the first time when he deceived his brother, or when he deceived his father? He talked about he deceived his brother. So then what Diane talked about last week was that Jacob and Esau were twin brothers, born at the same time, and Jacob tricked his brother Esau out of his birthright, out of the right to his blessing, and he received a blessing from his father. So not only, a couple chapters later, Jacob tricks his father, Isaac, dresses up as his brother, and brings so Isaac tells Esau, okay, I'm about to die. You're a good hunter. Go get me something out of the field. Hunt me something good. Cook me up a big, good meal that I like. Bring it back to me, and I'll bless you. So Jacob and his mother overhear this. And his mother, his name was Rebecca. She was a trickster, a powerful woman who had plans for her son. What she does is says, Jacob, okay, you go get a nice lamb or goat, I forgot what it was. I'll fix up a quick meal. You take it in there to your father before your brother gets back, and you get the blessing. And so that's what Jacob said. Well, you might not know it's me, so you put on your brother's clothes. What if he touches me? Well, I'll put some lamb skin on your neck so it feels like your brother's skin. And then Jacob goes and tricks his father and gets the blessing. And in that, his father says, oh, Jacob, or he says, oh, Esau, my son, how is it that you caught something so quickly? And Jacob says, oh, the Lord was good to me. The Lord provided. It's the first time Jacob ever uses the word God, and he uses it in a lie. And so, this young man who does not know God and has only used God's name in vain now has his own solitary experience of this God. Starting in chapter 28. Jacob left Beersheba and set out for Haran. He reached a certain place and spent the night there. When the sun had set, he took one of the stones at that place and put it near his head. Then he lay down there. He dreamed and saw a raised staircase, its foundation on earth and its top touching the sky. And God's messengers were ascending and descending on it. Suddenly the Lord was standing on it and saying, I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying. Your descendants will become like the dust of the earth. You will spread out to the west, east, north, and south. Every family of earth will be blessed because of you and your descendants. I am with you now. I will protect you everywhere you go, and I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done everything that I have promised you. When Jacob awoke from his sleep, he thought to himself, the Lord is definitely in this place, but I didn't know it. He was terrified and thought, this sacred place is awesome. It's none other than God's house and an entrance to heaven. After Jacob got up early in the morning and took the stone that he had put near his head, he set it up as a sacred pillar and poured oil on the top of it. He named that sacred place Bethel, though Luz was the city's original name. Jacob made a solemn promise. If God is with me and protects me on this trip I'm taking, and gives me bread to eat and clothes to wear, and I return safely to my father's household, then the Lord will be my God. This stone that I've set up as a sacred pillar will be God's house. And of everything you give me, I will give a tenth back to you. The word of God from the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
This week, we've got some of our youth here. This week, so they hate to spoil the surprise, so you can plug your ears during this part. But I wrote some notes for our youth, and a lot of y'all did the same thing, for them to receive while they are at summer camp. And I told them that Camp Lake Stevens is a really special place to me, because it was at that camp growing up as a young person that I made commitments to Jesus, to make him my personal friend, my God, my Lord, and my Savior. It is there that I really cultivated a personal relationship with Jesus. We can know about God, but do we know God personally? Do we have a sense of how God acts in our own lives? And I wrote this out and said, I hope that you'll realize how close God is and how God wants a relationship, a personal relationship with you. Now, I don't use that language a whole lot in the youth or even in my sermons. And one reason is it was a little overused in my youth. And sometimes when something is so overused, it almost loses all meaning, right? We don't actually define it and describe it. So what does a personal relationship with God really like? And for me now, a personal relationship with God is praying to Jesus as a person, as if Jesus could really hear me. And one of the prayers that I use is what's called the Acts prayer. And if you were at our spiritual life retreat, we talked about this. I grew up with a block of wood that had 4 words on it: adoration, confession, thanksgiving, and supplication. Right? How many people were taught that? Sarah, I can see a few people were taught that. And it's a way of praying. So it spells the word Acts, like the book of Acts. And I use that now when I like that format a lot. I think I've preached on that before, how much I like saying, adoring God for who God is to me. So when I pray to Jesus, I say, Jesus, my friend, my teacher. At least that's what I've been praying this past week. That's what I've needed, a friend and a teacher. I confess to God the sins that I feel like I've committed that day. And then I give thanks to all that I have. I've got this little piece of pottery in my house. And it says, it asks a question. It says, what if God gave you tomorrow only what you were thankful for today? And that's really convicting to me. What if God only gave you tomorrow what you have been thankful for today? Because I should be thankful for what I've already got before I start asking God for more. And so that's why that's at the end of the prayer. Then ask God for what I need, for health maybe, or for the ability to forgive, or for the ability to work hard. That's what I want, of course, everybody to learn, not just our youth. But I think when we develop a personal relationship when we're young, then the big decisions we make when we're young can be guided by God and not just by our own whims or by the whims of people around us. So the reason I brought that up is that before this story, so Jacob does not have a personal relationship with God. The only time he's mentioned God is in a lie to his father, dressed up as his brother. So he doesn't know the God of his father or his grandfather personally. He's a deceiver of his brother and father. He uses God's name in vain, and now he's on the run because he's upset with his brother. His brother seems to want to kill him, or at least has said that in a fit of rage. And Jacob is truly alone for the first time in his life here. And I think this is when he really needs God. I think God knows that he really needs God at this point. So God comes to him to talk to him in this dream. And it's interesting to note that God doesn't come to judge him to say anything about what he's done. So Jacob dreams of this staircase leading to heaven. Some older translations say ladder, but it's more likely a staircase. There are temples of that culture at the time that had these. They were built like pyramids, and they were thought to be the top layer of the pyramid. That was where God lived. The priests would walk up the staircase and commune with God and come back down. That's probably what Jacob is thinking. And Yahweh reveals God's Son as the God of Abraham, to Isaac, and God makes to Jacob the same promise that God has made to Abraham and to Isaac. Land, descendants, and you will bless everybody. So I bless you so that you bless everybody. Same promise that we've heard throughout Genesis. But then God gets personal. God addresses Jacob where he is and has a particular promise for him. It says God is with Jacob right at that point, when he's on the run, when his life is an immigrant, as he goes to this other land, and as he comes back to the land to which his grandfather immigrated. And then Jacob accepts these promises and then makes promises of his own. He says, okay, God, if you do this, I'll make you my God, my personal God. So he erects this place of worship. He promises to support the worship of this God with his resources. A tenth of all he gains will be given back to God. This is where we see Jacob begin this ongoing personal relationship with God. And he can, many chapters later, he will return to this place and build the altar kind of up into more of a place of worship. And God renames Jacob Israel twice. And one of the times in which God renames Israel is at this holy place. So here's one of the important things to note, though. Jacob didn't have to be perfect for God to initiate a relationship with him. Jacob didn't have to be particularly noble or religious for God to decide to spend time with him, for God to help him. He didn't have to be perfect or sinless or wonderful for him to be worthy of God's presence, God's assistance, or God's blessing. So this past Wednesday, I was at some meetings and a man came to the church looking for some help. And that's pretty common. If I'm here, usually some few people will come every week looking for some sort of help. He was trying to get to Gulfport, and he needed some gas. But of course, as most people will, he would take money if I was willing to give money. But I am not willing to give money to just about anybody. So, but more importantly in the story, what this man started talking to me about was, he kind of told me his story about what he'd gone through. And, which is fine, I don't have a problem with that, but he was using his story to try to justify himself. To say, Pastor Brad, I'm worthy of the help that I hope you will give me. Here's why I'm worthy. And I ended up saying, listen, you don't need to prove that you are sinless for me to help you. I don't think anybody is sinless. If I only thought I could help sinless people, I would help no one. You don't need to prove yourself to me for me to help you. Help is something everybody needs and everyone deserves, as long as it's the right kind of help. So it really struck me. I ended up preaching to this guy, like right outside of the church. He just got an impromptu sermon. He said, you don't got to prove yourself to me. You know, and of course it struck me, if you are sinless, why are you asking for help? You know, if you're perfect, why would you need to ask for help anyway? And people who, of course, think they're perfect and think they don't need help, that there are those people, and that's sad. But I think we can learn from him. Our calling, I think, is to admit our imperfections before all else. And then you can ask for help. I've messed up, we can say. I need help fixing this. How can you help me? Because I think once we admit that we're not perfect, once we admit our particular sins, and everybody's got our own unique set, then we can begin to get the help we need. But if we don't admit our problems, we're never going to seek solutions or accept help from others. You know, Jacob didn't have to be perfect for God to join him and to help him. Jacob didn't have to be perfect to be worthy of God's help. I think we're the same way. It's better to admit our unworthiness, our unique set of problems, so we can get the particular help we need. You know, I have heard Christians talk about how they want to go overseas to help people in need because they perceive those people as more deserving of help than some poor people who are a little bit closer by. Of course, obviously this is not everyone, and obviously those people overseas do help. But there's an internal perception that those people deserve help because they're more innocent, whereas the people somehow closer by are more guilty and therefore undeserving. And how sad that is, because I've been overseas to El Salvador, and guess what? There are rich people in El Salvador who live in nice houses, and they look at their own poor people and think those people are unworthy of my help too. So the problem with that is that it's not Christian. Just someone does not need to have a certain innocence in order for us to help them. Otherwise, we really wouldn't help anybody. You know, let me think of an example about how, if I can admit that I'm admit what my problem is. Let's say my problem is anger. Let's say my problem is self-absorption. Just hypothetical, of course. Yeah. But if my problem is self-absorption and somebody ignores that flaw and just helps me by comforting me and saying, "Oh, Brad, you're right. All those people that you're annoyed at, they're just terrible." Is that person really helping me, David? No, they're not. They're not helping me in the way that I really need help. A true helper is going to be honest about my flaws, but is going to be loving enough to not let my flaws become unworthy enough. In fact, a truly loving person is going to notice my flaws and say, "Let me help you overcome that self-absorption. Let me help you focus on how you can really serve others, bring joy to others, see the good in others." This was many months ago. I had a particularly difficult youth session with one of the youth. And I came in on Thursday morning and I told Jamie, I said, "Jamie, I don't know if I care about this guy anymore." And she said, "Well, Brad, then you got plenty of company." because I think a lot of people don't care about him either. And well, that stopped me in my tracks, because she didn't say, oh, Brad, you're right, you just don't have to care about him. Instead, she challenged me to reach a little farther into my heart so that I could develop sympathy for this young man. Same thing with anger. We have an anger problem. We're lazy. We can have people who enable us, or we can have people who truly help us by acknowledging that problem and helping us work through those problems. Because the Christian thing to do is to help people no matter who they are. Take time to get to know them so we can figure out how to help them in ways they need help. And after Jamie told me that, I made a point to get to know that youth better so that I can figure out how I can honestly help them, how I can really help them, how he was, and not enable them. So, how does this Old Testament lesson on judgment relate to a personal relationship with Jesus? Well, I find that if you pray to Jesus as your personal guide and friend and confess your sins to him, then he becomes the perfect one in the relationship, and you realize you're not the perfect one in the relationship, and you accept his help even though you're sinful. You're in the place of Jacob and God. You accept his help, and even while admitting you did not earn it, while you are imperfect, and then, I think then we are better prepared to help others who also do not earn our help, even though they're imperfect, and even though we can see their imperfections. When we have an ongoing personal relationship with Jesus, we become more like Jesus to other people. We become more like Jesus to the people we meet. So that's good news, I think. I think that's good news, that having a personal relationship with Jesus makes us more like Jesus. The challenge is this, of course. The good news always comes with a challenge. If you find yourself withholding your help from others because you've decided they're unworthy or undeserving, then check on your personal relationship with Jesus. Check on it. Are you praying him daily? All right, especially before you go to sleep. Are you kind of confessing your sins to him, asking for his help in overcoming your difficulties, your sinful habits, your hurts, your pains? Because if you're not praying to Jesus in this way, that may at least explain why you're unwilling to help others or see the good and worthiness in others. Loving Jesus will help you love others. Loving Jesus will help you love others. God tells, I'm going to end with this. God tells this imperfect man, Jacob, he says, every family on earth will be blessed because of you and your descendants. God accepts Jacob and seeks to guide him in a way that will make him a blessing to others. We are like Jacob. And Jacob, in the book of Genesis, is renamed Israel, and he represents all the people of Israel. And so when the people of Israel read the stories of Jacob, they're supposed to be seeing themselves in the character. And so God is trying to guide us in a way to turn us, we who are imperfect tricksters, into people who bless everyone we encounter and bless everyone across the world. So that God, the good news is that God will turn we who are sinners into blessings. The good news is that God will turn you who are sinners into blessings that bless all